So today we have an exciting talk for you on LLMs, but I'm going to need you to lock in because we actually have a number of very similar terms in this talk today. We're going to be talking about LLMs, we're going to be talking about them at MandM, and we're going to be talking about them with Ben. So the talk's going to be a few parts. Firstly, Ben, the lead at MandM, is going to talk us through the business problem and the team. Then myself, as the lead data scientist at Dataiku, I'm going to talk you through how we configured the application at MandM to solve their business problem. Ben's then going to talk us through some of the cool features of the LLM mesh, and I'm going to close out talking about how evaluation can help us gain confidence pushing these use cases to client-facing websites. So over to you, Ben, to kick us off.
Thanks, Matt. So as Matt said, we're sharing our first Gen AI use case that we've been able to take from initial idea all the way through to kind of ready for production. It feels like we've been talking about Gen AI for such a long time, so it's really, really exciting to be at this stage where we've actually got something kind of finished and ready to go and been through all that life cycle. Before I go into the details of that, I just want to introduce MandM for those of you who aren't familiar with the brand. So MandM is one of Europe's largest online off-price retailers. We buy clothing, footwear, sporting goods directly from some of the biggest brands in the world, and then we sell that product direct onto customers through our website, typically around about 65% off RRP. We've been doing that for almost 35 years now. We started as a catalog business many years ago, and for a long time, the catalog was our shop window. It was where our customers would browse the product. They would make a phone call to place their order. But we've come a long way since then. So about 8 years ago, we sent our last catalog. So today, we're purely online-only, pure play. That gives us the opportunity to collect a huge amount of data that we couldn't collect previously on how customers browse our product and interact with our range. So to show you where we are today, so I'm going to jump into our most recent digital campaign for autumn to talk you through where we are now. So MandM's got over 3.5 million active customers throughout Europe. Our core business is in the UK and Ireland, but we operate localized websites in European markets like France, Germany, Denmark, the Netherlands, and Poland. Within a typical year, we'll sell over 200 unique brands, so we really have a really broad range of offering through the business. We have about 700 million pages of product viewed across all the MandM websites every year, and about 140 million views from those websites for our customers. Data science at MandM, so we have a small data science team. So the team is 6 people. We work in quite a unique position where we're interfacing with teams across the whole business. In any given week, we can be working with colleagues in finance, merchandising, customer, e-commerce, logistics teams in the warehouse. And our remit is quite broad, so we can deal with anything from analytics queries, data support, BI and dashboarding, all the way through to designing and deploying new machine learning models to solve new business challenges or support our teams or give our customers better experiences. As you've seen on our kind of 35-year journey from catalog to pure play online retailer now, we've amassed a huge amount of data. I came into the business about 9 years ago, so around about the time that we were moving away from catalogs. Over that time, we've consolidated a lot of our data together into one cloud data warehouse. That's unlocked a lot of the work that now my team are able to do, and our remit is still very much getting value from that data, saying, okay, great that we're collecting it all. That was a lot of hard work, but now our job is to do things with that data that add value to our customers, drive revenue for the business, and make our colleagues' jobs easier. That brings us on to the problem that we want to share today. So at MandM, we have lots of employee company policies. This isn't unique to us. I'm sure the businesses that you represent have a similar problem. For MandM, these are around about 50 individual documents and hundreds of pages, everything from what's your dinner allowance when you're traveling for work, to what's the remote working policy for the company, what's the company benefit structure. These policies update all the time, so our HR and legal teams are constantly updating them. And we are interested in looking at a better way to interface with all this information. The challenge with it is nobody reads all these policies. If you want to try and find some information, it's quite hard. You have to go and read through a lot of documents to try and find a simple answer to the question that you need. It takes a lot of time. Either people don't have the time to do it, or they invest too much time trying to get the information they need. When we were thinking about LLMs, we were interested in trying to leverage the power of LLMs to summarize data, to extract useful information from these policies, and see if we could serve this up to people across the business. So that's the problem we started with. You might think, why don't we just jump into something like ChatGPT or Google Gemini and throw in our documents and allow all of our colleagues to do that? Again, probably like all of you, we've been on a journey trying to work out how we open up the power of LLMs across the business. Now, how do we do it securely? How do we do it in a way where there's some degree of control? How do we do it in a way that can be audited? And we felt, as a business, that just opening up ChatGPT or Gemini to everybody didn't give us the kind of guardrails and the control that we felt we needed to be able to understand LLMs as a new technology. A few key areas for us. So one would be simple logging. So if we open up ChatGPT to everybody, we don't have any logging on that. We can't really see what questions our colleagues are asking of the LLM, and we can't really benefit from that information because we don't own it. Data security has also been mentioned a lot this morning, so that's a concern as well. If somebody accidentally pastes somebody's telephone number or something into ChatGPT, we don't own that. Again, we have no control over where that goes. And all of these things, when they're being considered by leadership at MandM, they're reasons why we shouldn't do it. So we're trying to drive these things, saying that there's lots of benefit, but if we can't get over these hurdles, it makes it hard to get these things into production. We took this problem to the business solutions team at Dataiku. So if you've not worked with them before, they're a team of really smart data experts within Dataiku who build projects and tools in Dataiku using everything the platform can do to solve specific problems. So we've done things like lifetime value modeling in the past using business solutions, demand forecasting. They're great ways to prototype things really quickly and get a feel for what Dataiku can do. So we took this challenge to them and said, what can we do? This is what we want to do. These are our concerns. How do we go around it? They introduced us to the Answers plugin. Actually, when me and my colleagues were at Everyday AI last year, we saw Matt present the very first version of the Answers plugin. We really liked it, and it's interesting to kind of join the dots. We weren't thinking about it in the context that we've applied it at today a year ago, but fast forward to where we are now, and it's come full circle. So the Answers plugin is what's powering our chatbot now. I'm going to hand back to Matt, who's going to take you through what the Answers plugin is and how it works behind the scenes.
Exactly. Thank you, Ben. So yeah, now I'm going to talk about how we configured the Answers plugin to solve MandM's business problem, which is how do we constrain the model to the documentation. Now, there's a few ways we can use the plugin. So firstly, like Ben said, as a replacement for ChatGPT. Secondly, as an enhanced search over our documents. And finally, the more exciting kind of agentic search over a tabular data set. So we went with the second one here, so the enhanced search over our documents. Now, just by a show of hands, who could describe how a RAG process works? It's not supposed to be a test. Oh, we got some hands. Nice. So this might look quite complex. There's basically only 3 stages. Your data, how it's retrieved, and how an answer is generated based on that. And I always love to explain this with an analogy. So the analogy I always use is I imagine myself back at university as a young chemistry student studying chemistry, and my professor comes to me and he says, can you write me an essay on just why chemists love benzene so much? And as a chemistry student, I have no idea about benzene or really about chemistry at this point. So off I rush to the library, and this is where our analogy starts. So the books in our library are kind of similar to the documents in your knowledge bank. Now, when I hit the library, I'm intimidated. There's thousands of books all over dusty shelves, and so rather than spend hours searching them, I go to my trusty old wise librarian, and he has mapped out all the shelves and indexed them all. And so he can go and retrieve me back specific books on benzene. This then leaves me free to be the LLM at the end of this and generate my essay. So in this example, I'm both the LLM generating the answer and also the user asking the question. Now, I've explained that because it allows us to now understand how we configured the application at MandM. So the first thing we configured here is the retriever. Now, we had a choice on retrieval settings. Are we searching for similar documents or a diverse array of documents? Now, we choose similar documents if we know the answer is in a specific document, and a diverse array if we're doing more open-ended creative research tasks. So MandM knew the answers were in specific documents, so we chose a similarity score that was quite high. The second thing we configured is the number of documents being retrieved. Again, similar kind of principle. Small number of documents if you know the answer is in a specific place, and a large number of documents if you're trying to do more open-ended research creative tasks. So we chose small number of documents and high similarity score. Now, the next thing we configured is the prompts. Now, these are really exciting because small changes in prompts can have a huge impact on the performance of an LLM. And before I tell you exactly what we did, I kind of need to let you know a secret about how Dataiku RAG works. So you might think that it's just a single LLM call at generation stage. But actually, there's a second LLM call that occurs between the user asking a question and the retriever. And the purpose of this is to pre-anticipate issues that occur and retrieve back the best documents from the knowledge base. So we configured both of these. In the first call, we gave the LLM its personality. We said, be nice, be polite. We said, constrain yourself to the documents. And we said, push people in the direction of HR when you're not sure of the answer. On the retriever, here we configured it to ask for feedback from users or clarify with users when they were being unclear. We also optimized for more recent documents. Doing both of these things allowed us to then solve MandM's business problem, which is constraining our LLM and the whole GenAI architecture just to their documents. When we've done this, now it's not answering based on its general knowledge base, but on the specifics of the policies as Ben outlined. Now, the LLM features and mesh wrap around this, and some of these Ben and the team found quite useful.
I just wanted to call out some of the features that we really like in the implementation of the plugin. You'll have seen a brief demo earlier this morning in Emma's presentation that showed the Answers plugin and how it works. So it's a simple chat interface, but just to call out the things that we really like. So the connection with the LLM mesh is really important. So again, thinking about how we as a business roll out access to LLMs and which partners we want to work with. MandM is very Google-based, so we didn't initially we wanted to work with models in the Google stack, perhaps not OpenAI or Anthropic. The LLM mesh enables us to build a solution that's provider agnostic, so we can connect. So today we connect to Google. If that company policy were to change in 6 months' time, then we can seamlessly, with the LLM mesh, switch that to a different provider without losing any of the work that we put into the plugin or anything else that we build on top of the LLM mesh. So that's really cool. Secondly, logging. So again, I mentioned earlier how if we just gave everybody access to an LLM through the web, we wouldn't have any logging on that. With the Answers plugin, every usage of the chatbot gets logged in BigQuery, so then we can review those logs. And our legal team actually really like that. So it's not really keeping an eye on what everybody's doing. It's about using that data to refine the policies. So our legal team will use this information, and if they see that people are continuing asking a question and not getting a good response, then they can use that feedback to refine the policies. Also really important for us was securing PII. So like we said, if we, through a web interface, how do we stop people accidentally putting in somebody's name or a telephone number with the LLM mesh? So one feature that we really like is being able to secure PII and manage that in a few different ways. So if we see somebody puts PII into the chat interface, we can hash it before it goes to the model, or we can stop that request going to the model all. And these things are just really nice features to help us pitch these solutions internally when we're talking to management within MandM about why these solutions are secure and why they're OK to use, and these options that we've got for making them secure. I think these are just really great to highlight. And finally, feedback. So I don't know if you remember in the session early this morning where Emma showed that you can click a little thumbs up or a thumbs down by every response. So that enables users to give us feedback. And again, that can be used to refine policies. So if people are asking similar questions, they can leave feedback to say, actually, this isn't very clear or isn't very helpful. It might be that the LLM's doing an excellent job and that the policy isn't very clear and needs to be refined.
Great. So now you're probably asking what's next for MandM and for Dataiku. And I'm going to talk you through three things. Firstly, Ben already introduced an evaluation framework and user feedback. We're going to see how we can advance on that with more quantitative metrics. Then we're going to say, why might that even be an interesting thing to do? And finally, we're going to tease some of MandM's GenAI use cases that they pushed to their website that we couldn't share with you today. So firstly, how might we build an evaluation framework? Well, if we think about the RAG that we've implemented, what do we have? We have our retrieved context, so our books from our library. We have our user question, and we have our generated answer. Now, if we think about traditional machine learning, how do we make comparisons of accuracy? Well, we take our predictions and our ground truth, and we compare them. Can we have a ground truth here? The answer is yes. We can create expected answers for these applications. And once we've done that, well, now we can start to create metrics between them. So for example, we can say, how correct is our expected answer based on our generated answer? We can also say, how good is our generated answer at answering our question? And many, many more. So why might this even be interesting? Well, if we're thinking about GenAI use cases and putting them in production, we're thinking about how can we generate value over time, where value is money made or cost saved. So when we put a use case in production, we're assuming we're generating value. But we don't want to stop there. We want to keep optimizing towards that value so it delivers more over time. And we do that with evaluation metrics. Now, what's the second reason we might use evaluation metrics? Well, with some of these GenAI systems, we're not 100% sure what they'll do. They're inherently stochastic. So by using evaluation metrics, we can gain confidence in their results, which allows us to then push them to client-facing websites. This is an example of MandM's client-facing website, where they might, or might not, have a few GenAI use cases going to production or in production. So we can't share all of the details here with you today, but just to give you some examples, they might be generating some of the features of the product in the context of the product. For example, how do we showcase a raincoat in the rain to show it's waterproof? Secondly, how can we translate the titles of some of these products so they're applicable not just to the UK market, but to our French and Spanish markets? In doing so, we increase the number of customers that come to our website and can buy our product. And finally, how can we optimize the descriptions to be picked up by search engine tools? Again, this increases the number of customers that come to the website and the number of customers that are likely to buy our product. So in doing this and having all of these on the website, MandM now have the ultimate evaluation metric, which is this generating money for my business? That's the end of our talk today. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. We've talked you through how a small team at MandM have put a number of GenAI use cases in production using Dataiku. We've talked about how we configure applications, the role of the LLM mesh, and also the role evaluation plays in this. So if you've enjoyed today, I'd just like to hear a big round of applause for LLMs at MandM with Ben.